Welcome to Wedding Studio, the podcast from You Had Me at I Do for wedding officiants who want stronger ceremonies, steadier business, and couples who feel truly cared for. Each episode, hosts Mike and Jen share practical tips, real workflows, and lessons from actual weddings, the kind of advice working pros can use right away. Wedding Studio is produced by the team behind Studio by You Had Me at I Do, the software built to run a modern wedding business. The advice comes first. And yes, the team hopes what you hear here makes you curious enough to explore the platform. When a tip connects to a tool, they'll say so. Learn more at youhadmeatido.app. Better weddings, better business, less chaos. Now, here's Mike and Jen.
Picture the scene. The heavy lifting of the day is done, right? The vows have been spoken, the rings have been exchanged, you've made the pronouncement, and the couple finally kisses.
And the guests just erupt into cheers.
Exactly. And from the seats, it looks like a clean break. The ceremony is over, the pressure is off, and everyone is mentally just moving on to cocktail hour.
Right. It looks entirely effortless from the fourth row. The guests are simply experiencing this moment of pure celebration. Mm-hmm. But if you're the professional standing at the front of that room...
Oh, it's a completely different story.
Totally different. Whether you're the officiant who just delivered the script or the coordinator hovering by the back row or, the DJ waiting to hit play.
Yeah. You are staring down the barrel of a live 90-second logistics event. You've got a really specific exit order, critical music cues, photography needs, and highly emotional family instincts, all suddenly colliding in a very small physical space.
It's a lot.
It is. If you don't plan this specific 90-second window, a beautiful ceremony just devolves into a messy traffic jam instantly.
And that is exactly our mission for this deep dive into the recessional. To ground our approach today, we are pulling from protocols developed by the team at You Had Me at I Do.
Which is fantastic data to have.
Right, because this framework isn't based on abstract theory. It comes directly from the company's 25 years in the wedding business and data from, over 400 completed weddings.
Wow.
Yeah. So the objective here is to equip you, the capable professional managing the clipboard or the microphone on a Saturday afternoon, with the concise checklists and reusable phrases required to get everyone out of that room smoothly.
Because to fix a recessional traffic jam, we first have to understand the mechanics of why it happens in the first place, right?
Exactly.
And the biggest trap people fall into is assuming the recessional is simply the processional in reverse. The logic seems sound on the surface. Everyone just turns around and walks back the way they came. Couple first, wedding party follows, family goes next, guests leave.
But relying on that reverse processional concept is actually the primary reason the flow breaks down.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. The energy of the room has completely shifted. During the entrance, there is an inherent reverence. Guests are seated, they are still, the music is tightly controlled, and the focus is entirely forward.
I would think of the processional like boarding a carefully managed airplane.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. Because they call you by groups. Everyone is in their assigned place, watching and staying out of the center aisle. The recessional, however, is deplaning.
Yes.
The seatbelt sign goes off, the emotional seal is broken, and it just becomes a chaotic mad dash. Adrenaline spikes. People stand up simultaneously, grab their bags, pull out their phones, and crowd the aisle, completely altering the physical space we had just a minute prior.
And that shift in physical space is the critical variable. When guests stand, sightlines just disappear. Parents instinctively want to immediately step forward and hug the couple.
Oh, the immediate hugs.
Right. And the wedding party, who are riding high on adrenaline, often have absolutely no idea which direction they are supposed to move next.
They just freeze.
They do. So the recessional requires its own distinct engineered plan. It starts with establishing a rigid exit order, and step one of that order is always the couple leaving first.
They are the priority. Yet we've all seen the alternative play out. The quiet part ends, the crowd cheers, and like a flower girl or a junior groomsman decides to sprint down the aisle before the couple even has a chance to turn around.
Happens all the time.
Suddenly, the couple's first walk as a married pair is competing with a rogue 7-year-old and distracted guests.
Which is why the couple's exit has to be highly intentional and visible. As the professional running the show, you must confirm their exact walking path long before the ceremony begins.
Because it's not always a straight line.
Rarely an obvious straight line out the back doors. They might be navigating down a traditional center aisle, sure, But they could also be walking around a semicircular seating arrangement or ducking through a narrow tent flap or, trekking across loose sand on a beach.
Right. And if the couple doesn't know their exact destination, human nature dictates they will just stop, turn around, and look directly at you for instruction.
Which is exactly what you don't want.
Right. And if the music is already playing, the wedding party behind them might start walking, trapping the couple between the guests and their own attendants.
Which brings us perfectly to pacing that second group, the wedding party. Managing this group depends entirely on the size of the wedding and the physical dimensions of the venue.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Not at all. A massive wedding with 250 guests in a sprawling cathedral requires a very different strategy than a 50-person gathering in a historic courtyard.
So for those large-scale weddings, I imagine the strategy is about maintaining momentum.
Exactly. You want the maid of honor and best man, followed by the rest of the attendants, to follow the couple almost immediately. That continuous flow keeps the massive crowd engaged and moving.
But if you apply that same immediate follow-up to a tight, narrow space,
you create a physical pileup.
Yeah, the couple hits the end of a short aisle, they naturally slow down to process what just happened, and their entire wedding party just crashes into them from behind.
So in those smaller footprint venues, you have to build in a deliberate pause. You instruct the wedding party to hold their positions until the couple has completely cleared the back of the seating area.
And you also have to give that wedding party a destination, right?
Yes.
Like, are they looping around to a secondary cocktail area? Are they forming a receiving line? Are they heading straight to a secluded garden for portraits?
If you don't explicitly tell them where to go, they will literally freeze at the end of the aisle and wait for someone else to take charge.
Which is so awkward.
It is. And that lack of direction leads perfectly into the third group in the exit order, which is the family. Or, depending on the specific wedding, maybe the family doesn't walk at all.
This is what the sources identify as the hug trap.
Right, infamous hug trap.
Family members, particularly parents, are just overwhelmed with emotion in those final seconds. Their immediate, deeply human instinct is to stand up the second the kiss happens, step into the aisle, and embrace the couple.
And while it is a beautiful sentiment, logistically, it creates a massive bottleneck.
Oh, for sure.
If there are no ushers actively guiding the family, that center aisle transforms into a gauntlet. The couple is trying to make their triumphant exit, but they are forced to stop every 3 feet for another hug.
And the momentum completely dies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the recessional track is blasting over the speakers. The guests in the back rows can't see anything but a cluster of people. The photographer loses their clean exit shot. And the DJ is forced to just keep looping the same song while the room remains entirely static.
It's a nightmare for vendors. Preventing this requires an explicit, pre-communicated plan for the parents.
So what does that look like?
Well, the solution varies based on family dynamics. Some couples want their parents to recess formally right after the wedding party. Others prefer the parents stay seated until the entire aisle clears, allowing them, like, a private moment afterward.
Or some might need to skip a formal family recessional entirely just to navigate complex, blended family situations without drama.
Exactly. The actual choice matters less than the communication of that choice.
Yeah.
If parents are supposed to remain seated while the couple and the party exit, you have to tell them that before the ceremony ever begins.
Right. You cannot expect them to guess the logistics in a highly emotional state.
No, you really can't. And even if you manage the couple, the party, and the family flawlessly, the next major threat to the recessional comes from the other professionals in the room.
The vendors.
The vendors. The people hired to provide the soundtrack and capture the imagery can break the flow instantly if they aren't integrated into your plan.
Let's look at the music first, because a botched DJ cue is a very visceral kind of disaster. The pronouncement happens, the couple kisses, the crowd cheers loudly, the cheer naturally starts to die down.
Yeah.
And then there's just a profound, awkward silence because the music cue was missed.
It is so uncomfortable. Or, alternatively, you get the overly eager cue. The music fires so early and at such a high volume that it steps completely over the intimate moment of the kiss,
startling the wedding party into speed walking down the aisle before the couple has even processed what is happening.
Yeah. The mechanism to fix this is building a highly specific, sequenced script. The sequence should literally read, cue DJ, wait for music, couple exits, wedding party follows.
And the vital instruction in that sequence is wait for music.
Exactly. The recessional track should never start because the person running the audio took a guess. It starts because you, the person commanding the front of the room, signaled for it.
And the timing of that signal is paramount. Our sources emphasize a really crucial concept. letting the applause breathe.
Yes, a professional recessional cue happens after the initial cheer lands, not on top of it. You allow the crowd their natural human reaction. You pause for a beat, you lock eyes with the person on audio, you cue the music, and only then do you send the couple down the aisle.
But that requires confirming the exact visual or verbal signal before the ceremony starts.
Yeah.
You need to know if it's a subtle nod, a distinct hand gesture, or a spoken phrase over the microphone.
Right, and this applies whether you're coordinating with a 20-year veteran DJ standing 50 feet away at a professional mixing board, or, a family friend running a Spotify playlist from a Bluetooth speaker on a folding table.
Oh, especially with Bluetooth setups.
Yeah.
You have to account for latency. There is often a 3 to 5 second delay between hitting play on a phone and the audio actually projecting from the speaker.
It's a lifesaver to know that. If you don't know that delay exists, you might send the couple into dead air, assuming the music is already playing.
But even if the DJ hits that cue perfectly and the music swells exactly at the right moment, the momentum instantly dies if the couple turns around and walks straight into a camera lens.
The photographer bottleneck.
Yep.
Photographers are under immense pressure to capture the iconic recessional shot. It is a staple of the wedding album. But a photographer walking backward down the center aisle while looking through a viewfinder dictates the pace of the entire room.
It's the classic crab walk.
The crab walk.
They are hunched over, shuffling backward, trying not to trip over chairs or stray feet. Consequently, the couple slows their pace to avoid running into the photographer, the wedding party gets backed up behind them, and the guests are left standing and waiting.
But you never want to create an adversarial relationship with the photographer.
Of course not.
You share the space, and they really need their shot. The mechanism here is establishing a mutual boundary beforehand. You approach them and ask for their specific shooting plan. Like, are they capturing the exit from the side, from the very back of the aisle, or are they planning to be right in the middle of the walking path?
And if they plan to shoot from the middle of the aisle, you need a way to assert authority peer-to-peer without causing a vendor war. You can use a highly effective, reusable phrase with both the couple and the photographer during your prep time. Just say, "We'll take one photo here at the front, then you will walk without stopping to the back."
It's brilliant. That single boundary establishes clarity for everyone. It gives the photographer permission to take their hero shot right at the altar, and it gives the couple the freedom to actually walk out and enjoy the energy of the room without feeling obligated to stop, pause, and pose every 5 steps.
It eliminates 3 minutes of awkward shuffling and keeps the flow moving. So we've coordinated the people, we've established the audio cues, and we've cleared the aisle with the photography team. The final variable is the physical environment itself.
Which is usually where the best laid plans collide with reality.
Yeah. Weather and architecture are the silent dictates of any event space. They can change the geometry of a recessional in a matter of hours.
Think about a scenario where a couple plans a sprawling outdoor ceremony on a wide, beautifully manicured lawn. The forecast was clear, but an hour before start time, a massive storm system rolls in.
Right. Suddenly, that wide-open ceremony is relocated into a rented contingency tent. Instead of an expansive lawn with multiple exit routes, you are dealing with a compressed space and one narrow zippered door for 150 people.
And that environmental shift changes everything about how people move. An exit that breathed beautifully outdoors becomes incredibly claustrophobic inside a tent.
Or consider the aftermath of rain. A slightly damp field might not seem like a big deal, but without clear instructions, guests in heels will scatter to find dry patches, turning the exit into a muddy free-for-all.
So the mechanism to handle these environmental shifts is proactive reconnaissance. You have to physically walk the exit path, even if you think you know the venue.
Yeah.
You need to identify where the couple goes after they pass the last row of chairs. You need to determine if the physical space allows all the guests to exit simultaneously, or if the narrowness of the tent requires you to release them row by row.
Once you understand the constraints of the space, you have to communicate those constraints to the guests. And the cardinal rule here is to never improvise your instructions while the crowd is applauding.
Never. Improvised instructions tend to be rambling. When you are fighting wind, loud music, and a cheering crowd, long-winded paragraphs are incredibly easy to mishear.
You need exact, reusable directional cues that are written directly into your script.
You should have a menu of 3 primary lines ready to deploy. Line 1 is directional. Please exit down the center aisle. Line 2 manages the attendance. Wedding party, follow when the couple passes you. And line 3 manages the crowd in tight spaces. Guests, please remain seated until the wedding party has exited.
Those lines are short, punchy, and leave no room for interpretation. And you don't use all of them at every event. You select only the specific directions that the physical environment demands on that given day. Delivering calm, written direction is infinitely more valuable than trying to come up with a poetic sign-off on the fly.
And all of this planning, the exit order, the vendor cues, the spatial awareness, it only works if the people involved actually know what to do when their adrenaline spikes.
Which naturally brings us to the logistics of the rehearsal.
Yes.
But wait, looking at this checklist, this assumes we have a leisurely afternoon to practice.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic about how rehearsals actually operate.
They're chaotic.
Very. Couples are exhausted from traveling. The venue coordinator is tapping their watch because they have another event loading in.
Yeah.
You're dealing with 20 distracted family members who haven't seen each other in a year. We're never getting 20 minutes to sit there and practice and exit.
No, that is a very real constraint. You will almost never get 20 dedicated minutes for the recessional. But the good news is you don't need 20 minutes. If you understand the psychology of commanding a room, you can execute a highly effective rehearsal in 90 seconds.
90 seconds. How do you establish that kind of authority over a distracted crowd to get it done that fast? Like, what are the actual mechanics of a 90-second run?
Well, the first step is to never treat the recessional as an afterthought while people are packing up their bags. During the rehearsal, immediately after you walk through the fake pronouncement and the practice kiss, you stop. You project your voice, you stand in the center of the space, and you command the room's attention.
You don't ask for their attention, you take it.
Precisely. Once you have the floor, you break it down into quick physical actions. Step 1, physically mark the exact spot where the couple will stand when they are officially announced to the room. We often call this the presentation spot. Step 2, physically practice stepping out of the frame. As the pro, you need to step to the side before the kiss happens so you aren't hovering awkwardly in the background of their photos.
Wow, you actually want to rehearse stepping away.
Yes, make it muscle memory. Then, step 3, cue the pretend music. You announce loudly, okay, the music is now playing. Then you have the couple walk all the way to the back of the room at their actual intended ceremony pace.
Not a rushed speed walk just to get through the rehearsal, but the real pace they will use on the day.
Right, and while they walk, you direct the wedding party to follow them so they can physically feel the spacing and timing. You look directly at the family members in the front row and tell them explicitly whether they are standing, following, or staying seated. And finally, you look at the empty guest chairs and practice delivering your exact release lines out loud.
So it is one clean, continuous run of the final 90 seconds.
Yeah, it works because people do not retain verbal lectures, especially when they are distracted. They retain physical movement and muscle memory.
That makes total sense.
Doing one clean run prevents the nightmare scenarios. It prevents the best man from walking away while the rings are still sitting in his pocket. It prevents the flower girls from getting lost. It prevents the DJ and the live string quartet from both playing a song at the same time because nobody clarified who had the final cue.
Because relying on your memory, when the crowd is screaming and the pressure is on, is a guaranteed way to drop a crucial detail. Building these specific cues, the pauses, the stage directions, the exact release lines directly into a written ceremony script is a lifesaver.
It really is. That structure is what removes the cognitive load from your shoulders. You want to be able to glance down at your script, read the directional line, lock eyes with the DJ to cue the music, and confidently send the couple down the aisle without having to guess what comes next.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to anchor all of this back to your core role as a part-time professional. Whether you are officiating, running the timeline as a coordinator, or managing the audio, you might not be the person who designed the floral arch or picked the catering menu. But in those crucial 90 seconds at the end of the ceremony, you are the single point of authority holding the event together until it is truly officially finished.
Your calm, pre-planned direction serves as the bridge between the solemnity of the ceremony and the high energy of the celebration.
Exactly.
And the one clear habit we want you to take away today is this. Always explicitly script your recessional cues. Write them down in bold letters. Do not wing it. If you want a tool designed specifically to help you build these flawlessly timed scripts and keep the logistics in one clean view, you can use the Studio platform. Just head over to youhadme@ido.app.
Having that foundation allows you to be present and calm when it actually matters. But, I want to leave you with a completely different thought to mull over before your next weekend gig.
Oh, what's that?
Think about how the psychology of crowds is changing. We've talked about the recessional as a logistics event, but we are increasingly dealing with the era of social media and main character syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Guests aren't just standing up to celebrate anymore. They are stepping into the aisle to film content. Wedding parties are pre-planning viral dances for their exit walk.
It changes the entire dynamic.
It really does. So ask yourself, as the desire to capture and manufacture viral moments continues to mutate the behavior of crowds, how will that change your job in the next 5 years? Will managing the recessional become less about directing traffic and more about managing an impromptu film set?
That's a scary thought.
Right. So plan your exit order, script your cues, and give the couple the runway they deserve, because the environment you are managing is only going to get more complex.
Thanks for listening to Wedding Studio from You Had Me at I Do. For links, resources, episode notes, and anything Mike and Jen mentioned today, visit youhadmeatido.app/podcast. And while you're there, take a look at Studio by You Had Me at I Do, the software built to help wedding pros manage the couple, the wedding, and the business behind it all. Better weddings, better business, less chaos. We'll see you next time on Wedding Studio.